Hello, my loves. Let's get into the channel message. I have Jippy with me. He's just chilling. I thought I'd let him come in the room today if he was going to sleep, and looks like he is. So, perfect, perfect, perfect. As usual, you will know if this is for you. You will feel it in your body. It will resonate. You will just know. You will just know. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. Or just simply take what resonates if you enjoy the message as well. Okay. Spirit, what is coming through for the collective? I keep hearing patience, patience, patience. Patience, patience, patience. What are we being patient with, Spirit? What have we been patient with? What has this collective been patient with? With their life unfolding in a very specific way. There seems to be some attachments, or there has been some attachments that have recently been dislodged, I'm hearing. I'm hearing placements. Had to sneeze, sorry. I'm hearing placements that could be significant for someone or a few of you. Placements, we've had to release attachment to placements or placeholder. What's coming through is there has been a release with certain attachments that have been within this collective for a long time. Something about holding it all together. This has been coming from my recent messages. This is likely, those previous messages are likely for you as well. But there's a great sense of this collective having to truly release what brought them here. Where you are now in your life, you have had to let go of a lot of heaviness, or you had to face heaviness through this release to initiate this release. I'm hearing dark night of the soul. I'm hearing repeated dark night of the souls, dark nights of the soul. I'm hearing just a lot of low, low, low energy. I would say hints of depression, but the difference between this low energy and depression is that depression is a state of being in which there is no expression, there is no movement, and you're complacent. You're not you're complacent, but the energy is stagnant. You have adjusted to stagnancy. What I want to say with these heavy emotions is they were very raw, very painful, almost physical aches in the body, kind of painful with these emotions. There could have been a lot of intrusive and dark thoughts, a lot of intrusive and dark emotions that didn't necessarily come out of nowhere, but it hit you quite hard. This could have been recently, this could have been a month ago. Whenever this happened for you, I feel like it's still significant in the mind space because you are still coming back to self after that release. You had to face some of these heavy, heavy emotions because they had been there for so long. And you are coming back to self, a true self that was beneath this, that was or has been slowly emerging over time through this. But it's like the last treasure of you, the last light and joy that you were looking for, or some sort of energy that you've been searching for, hoping for, or wondering if this will be present, or wondering if that's within you, or wondering if it's going to come in. It's like that energy could only be birthed fully once you had faced this heaviness fully. So there's been an initiation and a release that's happened, but there's been a major death and rebirth that's happened. And if you're watching this now, however, whatever the timing has been for you, currently you may be experiencing sort of your landing back into self, like you're settling in, you're meeting yourself with this new foundation, and you don't know what it fully looks like yet. It's like you're still refining the blueprint, but it's there. The what needs to be there is there, and you have all the tools and all the pieces because you've been preparing and building for so long. Or you've been purchasing tools and you've been investing and getting all the things you need to truly almost finish this house, finish this building. I don't think it's finished yet. I don't think it'll ever be finished because, hello, we're constantly evolving. But the whole point of this is that you've been refining and discerning what you want it to look like, what you want you and your life to look like. And you're still figuring that out, and that's okay. But it's like the last few pieces that were needed for this base, for this foundation, it could not come in, or things could not start coming in until you had this heaviness released and you had to face it. And you experienced it in its raw, dark depths. So firstly, you should be very proud of yourself. If you're watching this and you're resonating with all these messages and you've experienced this recently, you should be very proud of yourself. I feel like you've had a lot of these moments, but I think this one recently took you by surprise in a way, because you thought, oh, but I have all these tools now. Like that won't happen to me again. Like I won't experience it again. But it's not that you've gone backwards or you've failed. No. You've reached a new height within yourself. And as we know, when we reach those new levels within ourselves, we will often visit or revisit the self that could no longer be a part of this journey. The self that was holding on to certain beliefs and attachments and paradigms within. I'm also hearing ancestral clearing and ancestral karmic healing. Also seeing like a link, like a chain link being broken or melted, purified, so much so that it falls apart. This has been hard work. This has not been easy. You are a rare individual, a very rare individual. There are very few people on the global scale that are like you at this level in which you operate. And with the amount of darkness that you've had to face, you still stand tall. You still have hope for more. And there is something so special about your humanness, your ability to feel such extremes on the emotional spectrum, such extremes, to shift between those states of being. I mentioned this in a TikTok reading, I'm pretty sure, but this is coming up again for the full collective one. You were able to have days where you reached the lowest of the lows within yourself. When I say that, I don't mean you're acting like a person in this low space, but you are feeling everything that is this low space. And then the next day, you can wake up and you can feel happy, hopeful, trusting, empowered. Your ability to feel such extremes on this level isn't a sign of your imbalance. It is your ability, it is a sign of your magic, your gift. Because we know that when we are able to feel things like that, at that intensity, at that depth, we hold and culminate so much wisdom. We integrate knowing and learning and codes that we can use to build. That's the whole point. You aren't just experiencing these depths for no reason. You are experiencing this because there are codes in that. There is wisdom in that. There is I want to say XP, like in a game when you level up, or to level up you have to have XP. You have to have certain experiences. This is the XP that you go through, that you obtain. You do the hard shit because you're here to do a lot of good shit, and not just on a level of self. That is the first priority, which is why you are experiencing it at such intensity. But this is magic that you're meant to bring, I'm hearing, to the masses. This collective, this is magic you're meant to bring to the masses on some level. Even if that is just you existing as you are, when people interact with your energy, they are activated. Even if it's unknowingly, or if you're a healer, or if you're someone who wants to give to the people or wants to help people, you will find your way there if you haven't already. You are meant to activate and inspire and motivate. And you couldn't do that if you didn't access these codes on the level at which you do. It doesn't make it any easier. But there's this sense that this collective has been re-experiencing these things to reconnect with their purpose, reconnect with your why you do what you do, why you're living this life, why your everyday looks the way it does, or why you even have dreams and goals and aspirations, if you do, which I'm sure you do. I think big dreams and big aspirations and big hopes. You're being asked to recognize your purpose, or in this adjustment phase that you're in this transition phase that you're in right now. You had to see everything that was within you. You had to see all the magic. You had to see where your first dream started and why. Because that purpose, that initial purpose that you've had for a very long time, since you were a child, a teenager, that you've held in your heart for a very long time, maybe you haven't spoken it to many, maybe it's not exactly a specific thing, but a feeling or an embodiment. But you have been working towards this, whether knowingly or unknowingly, for a very long time, and you have not sat back on your throne and celebrated how much you've actually done internally. You haven't embraced or recognized the internal success. That magic that you've been wanting and dreaming about for so long, you exist within that fully every day. And that's a big part of why you had to reach this level of self, the depth again, because that's where this dream, that's where this dream started. This dream that you've had to be who you are, to be who you're becoming, the magic I keep hearing, or the freedom I keep hearing, that dream started in darkness like this. And that was the only way you could find it again, you could recognize it again, was in this darkness. to reconnect with this dream that you have held on to and worked towards for so long. It could only be recognized and seen within darkness because it was born from darkness. It was born from nothing, from the emptiness, from utter pain. Oh, you made the light. It didn't just come to you, you created it. Oh, wow. This started in your heart. This light, this hope that you have been holding onto and doing everything. You don't realize that I don't think on this full level yet, but you don't realize that every step you've taken has been born from this dream in your heart that was born in the darkness. When everything was terrible, when nothing felt good or right, you had a deep knowing, you had hope, you had a glimpse of love, and you created it inside of you. And that glimmer of light, of love, of hope has been the thing that was just enough to set you on a path, all the paths you've been on, to do all that you've done, to pull you out of your pain, to pull you into freedom, to pull you into that dream on an embodied level, on a level in which you are living it. And unfortunately, not even unfortunately, fortunately, the only way for you to recognize why you're here right now, why everything's happening the way it's happening, you could not go further without recognizing why you're here right now, who you are, and why you've become who you are, and what all of this was for. All of it. Because it was born in darkness. And I don't think your life has been dark for a long time. I think you've had moments, I think you've had days, I think you've had weeks, but I think the overall state of your life has not been dark because you've embodied the dream. You've embodied the self that lives your dream through all the work that you've done. So you had to have moments with that darkness again to remember why this all started, to remember how fucking powerful you are, because you created light when there was no light possible, when there was no light available. No one gave you this. I'm being so thrown out right. I know in my heart that no one gave you this light. No one showed you anything. There was nothing outside of oh there was nothing outside of you telling you that that light was available, that it was real, that it was possible. And you made it possible. Oh, I'm getting so emotional. This is big. You made it possible. So if in your life right now, you're not seeing anything outside of you, you aren't seeing anything outside of you that's telling you there's progress, that you can be secure and stable financially, or relationships aren't really, if your world isn't exactly how you want it, but you feel like a different you feel like your dream self on a level that you haven't met before, right? But your outside world isn't reflecting that. This is the duality that I've been talking about. If your outside world has not been reflecting this on that level in which you were wanting, that you were continuing to also dream about, the external dream, this is because when you were in that darkness and you created that light, you are remembering that you also did not see anything outside of you. You saw nothing. So you had to feel it and create it from within. When there was only darkness, when there was only pain, there was only suffering, there was nothing outside of you. Nothing that gave you any glimmer of hope. In fact, it was all taken from you. You were like closing out, I'm hearing like a 16, 17-year cycle. You saw nothing outside of you, and yet you created magic and love and light within when there was only darkness. That is exactly what's happening now. You're being asked to remember that, and that's why your external world seems like it's not supporting you, because you weren't supported back then either from your external world. Divinely, you are infinitely supported, and you know that now. But you've had to slowly integrate that and learn that over time. There is no external support. You don't see a thing, not in the way that you hope, not in the way that is technically enough for any other person to keep going. Usually by now, logic would have come in and you've gone, no, it's not working, failure, like try something else, do something else, whatever it is that you've been creating, whatever it is that you've been trying to make happen outside of you. And it's not happening. You are being asked to remember where your magic and power comes from, and that is within. That is within. And I'm not saying you don't have power in the external. I'm just saying that you are more powerful because you make something out of nothing. You make everything out of nothing. And you are doing that again. And you've been doing it. You've already been doing it. But we have these moments, we have these huge tower revelation moments because we need to know sometimes where it all came from before we can continue. Because what I'm hearing is your external world is about to change because you reconnected with the memory of making everything out of nothing, out of making light when there was only dark. When you could not see a thing, you trusted everything that you felt and you hoped that it was enough. And it was. And that's exactly what's going to happen now. You're not meant to see. Your seeing comes from feeling, from a deep knowing. You see when you have embodied everything that you feel and know. You don't need proof. 23, you don't need proof. You don't need external validation. You never have. You never have. And that's what your world and your guides been trying to tell you. You've never needed someone outside of you to tell you that you are right or that you're okay or that you're doing it the way that it needs to be done, because everything you create comes from you. Everything, every single thing that is successful in your life, that is magical in your life, that is abundant in your life, that is free in your life comes when you feel it, when you know it, and then you embody it. That is where it all comes from. That is how you work. That is how you operate. You don't need to see in the way that other people do. You don't need to operate like anybody else. You're not meant to. You've never done that. You've never been asked to do that. Your light came from nothing. And you made it everything that you are. The external world that you want, that you dream of, that you feel within, it is inevitable. It is inevitable. And you are proof of that. You are proof of that. You are the proof. If you feel it, that's it. That's all the evidence you've ever needed. And now you need to keep living with that, with the full recognition, with the full cycle completed, embodied, known, proven, because you exist freely, exactly as you are, all that you are. I'm hearing this is your catalyst. This remembering is your catalyst for everything that's about to come in. You've hit an unlimited potential within yourself because you are. But you finally it's come full circle. You now have the tools for infinite creation, infinite anything and everything. And you've always had them, but you now know on an embodied level that you have them. I'm seeing the infinity symbol, but what I'm seeing, my favorite, is you've completed the first half and now the rest of your journey is the second half. Okay? You've been doing all of this within. And now that you've mastered the within, you're taking it to the world. All I keep hearing is you don't need any more proof. You don't need any validation or external support, nothing. You've never needed that. You've never acquired that because it's all come from you. And that's why you've been tested so hard and you've experienced such heaviness and such pain and so many struggles because the world needed people like you, someone like you, to bring this to life in a way to activate the masses, in a way to activate the rest of the world. Because this is how everything is. But not everyone has the willpower to do it. But you've been born with it. Or was born through you. You had the blueprint and you made it happen internally. And now you have a blueprint ready for your external world because you've been building all the tools and all the resources and everything from within. And now you're just going to apply it all to your external world and make it happen like you made everything else happen. Purely because you felt it. There is literally nothing more powerful than you. Literally. And I'm not just saying that to be a cliche or anything like that. There is literally nothing more powerful than you. And I want you to feel this in your heart. I want you to embody this and feel it throughout your entire being. Because every time you honor what you feel and you respond to what you feel, you bring magic to the physical. Because you knew that its existence was everything. That was the validation. That was the proof. This isn't saying that you won't have doubt, that you won't have all the normal human feelings alongside what you're creating, but you have the blueprint now. The blueprint that you know that works. You have done all the trials and all the errors. You've completed it all. So anytime you need to look for support or look for a bit of backup, you go within and you know that they will always have the answers. Because I'll say it again. You are the one who created light out of darkness. You are the one who created everything when there was nothing. Your spirit guides are incredibly proud of you. Your loved ones are incredibly proud of you, the ones that are in spirit. Your ancestors have been waiting for this, have been dreaming of this with you, have been with you this whole time. You've never been alone, and you know that now. You've never been alone. You had to feel those depths and those darkness. You had to feel it because you were the one who could do it. You were the one, like I said, who in that darkness could birth light and make it everything and then become it. So the dream that you have in your heart now for the way that you want your world to be, your life to be, I mean, in comparison to what you've done internally, a piece of fucking cake. You're just going to keep coming back to this remembering. Keep remembering this moment now, or the moment that you had within you when you realized everything you've already done and how you did it and why. When you reconnect with your why again and again and again, that will always be the support that you need. I love you so much, and I don't have the words. I'm so happy for you. I'm so grateful that you exist. I'm hearing next steps will be delivered to your door. So if you've been wondering what the next steps are, wondering where you're being guided to, or what you're meant to do now, or where it's taking you, you will feel this, you will know this as always. So you don't need to wait on it. Trust that it will come when it needs to. Just do what you want. Live, enjoy, live in love, because that is what has done everything for you. Okay, I'm going to leave the message at that. Yeah, I love you. You're incredible. You're amazing. This was a blessing to channel. Truly, I feel, yeah, so blessed, so honored to have channeled with this energy today. I love you.